On the night of March 1, 1932, America was shaken by one of the most infamous crimes of the 20th century, the kidnapping of Charles Lindbergh Jr., the 20-month-old son of famed aviator Charles Lindbergh and his wife, and Morrow Lindbergh. The abduction and subsequent murder of the Lindbergh baby captured the attention of the world, leading to one of the most intense manhunts in history and culminating in the arrest and trial of Bruno Richard Hauptmann. This narrative explores the events surrounding the kidnapping, the investigation, and the trial that became a media sensation, leaving a lasting impact on American society and the justice system.
Charles Lindbergh, known as the Lone Eagle, was a national hero, celebrated for his solo transatlantic flight from New York to Paris in 1927. His wife and Morrow Lindbergh was an accomplished aviator and author in her own right. Together, they were one of America's most admired couples. The birth of their first child, Charles Augustus Lindbergh Jr. in 1930, was widely publicized and added to their public image as the perfect American family. The Lindberghs lived in a secluded estate in Hopewell, New Jersey, seeking privacy away from the public eye. However, their lives would be tragically altered when their son was kidnapped from his nursery, an event that would come to be known as the crime of the century.
On the evening of March 1, 1932, Charles Lindbergh Jr. was put to bed in his second-story nursery by his nurse, Betty Gow. At around 10 p.m., Charles Lindbergh Sr. went to check on his son, only to find the crib empty. A ransom note demanding $50,000 was found on the windowsill, and a makeshift ladder was discovered outside the house, leading to the nursery window. The Lindberghs immediately contacted the police, and the search for the missing child began. News of the kidnapping spread like wildfire, with newspapers across the country covering the story in unprecedented detail. The public was captivated by the crime, and the pressure on law enforcement to solve the case was immense. The ransom note, written in broken English, instructed the Lindberghs to prepare the money in specific denominations and warned them not to involve the police. Over the next few weeks, a series of ransom notes were received, each with further instructions and increased demands. The Lindberghs, desperate to get their son back, complied with the demands and enlisted the help of a go-between, Dr. John Condon, who communicated with the kidnappers on their behalf.
On April 2, 1932, after several exchanges, Dr. Condon delivered the ransom money to a man known as Cemetery John in a Bronx cemetery. The man claimed the child was being held on a boat off the coast of Massachusetts, and that the child would be returned within days. However, weeks passed and there was no sign of the Lindbergh baby. Then on May 12, 1932, a tragic discovery was made. The decomposed body of Charles Lindbergh Jr. was found in a wooded area near the Lindbergh estate. The child had died from a blow to the head, and it was determined that he had likely been killed on the night of the kidnapping. The nation mourned the loss, and the crime took on a new level of horror. The investigation, which had already involved the FBI and local law enforcement, intensified as authorities sought to find those responsible for the heinous crime. The ransom money, which had been marked with serial numbers, became a key piece of evidence in tracking down the kidnappers. The breakthrough in the case came in September 1934, when a gas station attendant in the Bronx received a $10 gold certificate from a customer. The certificate was part of the ransom money, and the attendant wrote down the license plate number of the customer's car. The car was traced to Bruno Richard Hauptmann, a German immigrant and carpenter living in the Bronx.
Hauptmann was arrested on September 19, 1934, and a search of his home revealed over $14,000 of the ransom money hidden in his garage. Additional evidence linked Hauptmann to the crime, including handwriting analysis that matched him to the ransom notes and wood from the latter used in the kidnapping that was traced to his workshop. Hauptmann's trial, which began in January 1935, was one of the most sensationalized in American history. Dubbed the "trial of the century," it attracted enormous media attention, with journalists from around the world descending on the small town of Flemington, New Jersey. The prosecution, led by Attorney General David Willents, presented a compelling case against Hauptmann, while the defense argued that Hauptmann was being framed. Despite his claims of innocence, Hauptmann was found guilty of first-degree murder and sentenced to death. His appeals were denied, and on April 3, 1936, he was executed in the electric chair at Trenton State Prison. To the end, Hauptmann maintained his innocence, insisting that he had been wrongfully accused. The Lindbergh kidnapping case left a profound impact on the American legal system and public consciousness. The crime led to the passage of the Lindbergh Law, which made kidnapping a federal offense, punishable by death if the victim was harmed. The case also highlighted the growing power of the media in shaping public opinion and the importance of forensic evidence in criminal investigations. While many believed that justice had been served with Hauptmann's conviction, questions about the case lingered for years. Some doubted Hauptmann's guilt, suggesting that he may have been part of a larger conspiracy or that the true culprit was never caught. These lingering doubts continue to fuel debates and conspiracy theories to this day.
The kidnapping of the Lindbergh baby by Bruno Hauptmann remains one of the most infamous crimes in American history. The case not only captivated the nation, but also led to significant changes in the law and criminal justice system. As we reflect on this tragic chapter, we are reminded of the complexities of justice, the impact of crime on society, and the enduring legacy of the crime of the century.